city's population. But you've got 2 police stations, 9 fire stations, 6 libraries, 48 parks. Yeah, the medical center, well, the medical center is not ours, so we don't have it in here. 9 community centers and a health center. And as you talked about this morning in a press conference, soon to be a replacement and bigger and better community center and health center. And so there's some exciting things going on in District D. But why are we here today? We're here today to give a little bit of a background on what's happened recently. A little more than 6 months ago, coming up on 7 months ago, our not-so-friendly Hurricane Harvey came and dropped 52 inches of rain on the Houston area, 14 trillion gallons of water. And just in Houston alone, we've identified over $61 billion in need to help repair the city's infrastructure and to help get our community back on its feet. And it's not just the homes and businesses that have been impacted. We also have a significant number of city facilities. Those facilities we use every day to provide services to you were also impacted throughout the city. Zooming in on District D, you can see the specific facilities here in this district that received damage. Police, fire, libraries, health and human services, parks. We talked about the Sagemont Community Center and the damage that happened to it. It is pretty, it's these types of damages that take things out of commission in the short term, but these are also the things that are competing with the dollars that we have in this capital improvement plan. So what I have next is a funding sample to show you why we're talking this year about the fact that it's going to delay some of our other projects. So I'm going to walk through this with you. Even take the microphone off of here. So when you look at this, what happens is, if you look at our 5-year CIP and the amount of money we have in it every year, what happens is Harvey comes in and offsets that money in that second year. And this continues to happen over and over. We do get reimbursements from the federal government, but they never quite make up for everything that we lost originally. And so this ripple effect goes on throughout the 5 years of the CIP. And that's part of why we're out here tonight saying, we don't want you to be disturbed, we don't want you to be disappointed. We are keeping all the commitments that we have made in the capital improvement plan, but Harvey is going to impact when they might happen. And so that's what we want to make sure that you understand. It is not a back, we're not walking back, we're not taking any commitments away, but we have been impacted by Harvey. And so that's what it means to us. What it means to us as departments, it's what it means to us as a community, is until we get those reimbursements, we have to use the money that we have available today to make these repairs. And so it does impact our ability to do the projects on the original schedule. But the good news is that we are committed to delivering these projects. And so when you look at our capital improvement plan, I skipped one there real quick. But we do have the Fire Station 55, the mayor talked about that. We have the Training Academy. There we go, start Fire Station 55. We have the Training Academy, where we actually, as a city, prepare our men and women of the fire department to be able to come in and rescue and be prepared for when they're fighting fires in the real. Bellwood Park, Edgebrook Park first, and then this is over off of West Belfort Avenue, and Belfort, there's no west there. My note here was wrong. I'll make sure I fix that. Judson Robinson Jr., Playground Redevelopment. That's going to be off of Herman Drive, the community center that already exists there. And then what I'm most excited about is when we start talking about drainage and paving projects. And one of the reasons that we put these pictures of the actual construction is because we recognize that it is not pleasant for anybody while we're constructing. But we have the drainage and paving project going on in Sagemont right now. It is scheduled to be completed later this calendar year or early next year. Hopefully we'll get that wrapped up late this year. We also have Simsbrook, Portsmouth, and Merway, where we're doing drainage and paving. This is another substantial project. This is almost $8 million that we're going to be doing street reconstruction. And then one that I actually drove the entire length on the way to this meeting myself, MLK Boulevard. It's a nice project. The contractor did a really good job on getting this one. It's a very smooth ride now, and it is certainly not all the way, but the part we rebuilt is a smooth ride. So I think that's what that compliment cost me. So recovery funding. I do want to jump out of the CIP for just a minute, because one of the things we do want to talk about is recovery funding. There have been numerous representatives of the city up to Washington, D.C., up to Austin, working with the GLO, working with Congress, working with HUD, working with FEMA, working with any agency that we can. And the reason why is when you look citywide at the impact from Harvey, nobody was spared. No part of the city was spared. Every part of the city was impacted by Harvey. Here in District D, almost 22,000 homes had some sort of damage from the flooding. 142, the mayor said, received the substantial damage letters. You know, this is not a small storm. I mean, and it was a huge impact here in District D, and we recognize that, and we recognize that that we as representatives of the city, and that we as public servants have to continue to push for that funding to come here locally to help get our residents back on their feet. It is not coming fast enough, and there is not enough coming, but we are working hard at it. One of the other things, we do have a representative from our housing department here tonight, is we do have a hotline set up. If you have been working with FEMA and you have been denied, the top phone number up here is a hotline that we have stood up that is staffed specifically for you to call us and get help with getting through that FEMA process. You have to have made that initial claim, and you have to have been denied, but this hotline is available to help you get that. And then the other phone number on the bottom of this slide is for all the other programs that we have, whether it's direct assistance for repairs, whether it's help with getting leases, whether it's working to get a mobile home or a temporary trailer. All of the housing programs that the city runs, that bottom number is how we can help get you in touch with the right person and the right group and the right program to help you get back on your feet. And so we do have a representative of the housing department here who will be available to answer questions if we get to them. And then the last piece is we want to make sure that beyond just recovering for this storm, that next time we build back in a way that next time we reduce the chance, that we minimize the probability that you might be flooded in a future flood. And so we actually do have a number of grant programs for people with existing homes and that have flooded multiple times that you can apply for, that we work with FEMA to get the funding to actually take your existing house and either elevate it up above the flood, or to, in some cases, there are programs where we can actually tear down a house and build a new house that's compliant and safer. And then there are a few places in town where it is just best to not have houses in those areas. And so there are some areas in town that buyouts really are a good option. But those are very, very few areas here in town. And then the last piece that I have up here is the floodplain ordinance that the mayor is going to be taking to city council a week from tomorrow. And this is a comparison between what is in the current floodplain ordinance and what's proposed to be in the future. And as he talked about, if you look at it, we're going from the 100 year to regulating the 100 and the 500 year. And then the differences between the two are primarily the elevation that we're going to make new houses be built in relation to where they are today. Building them higher keeps them above the flood. Because we know that rains are going to come. We know that the next rainstorm is going to come. We don't know when, we don't know where, but we do know that when new houses are built, that if we can build them higher, that they are less likely to flood when we get that next rainstorm. And so that is why we are moving forward with changes to Chapter 19. But these are not the only changes. We're also going to be doing changes to the building codes. We're going to be doing changes to the infrastructure design manual. We're going to be doing changes to detention requirements. We're going to be doing all sorts of changes related to flooding. And we're going to continue to push for, and Flood Czar Costello has been pushing for significant mitigation money to do large projects that will also address flooding in neighborhoods. So we're doing all of these things. This is just the first piece of that flood recovery. And with that, I'm going to hand the microphone back to Councilmember